Welcome back to Fitness Manifesto. I am one of your hosts, Kim, and joining me is
Justin. Welcome to this new show that we've started, which focuses on life, awesomeness, friendship, and fitness as a whole.
How's it going, Justin? How are you?
Kim, I'm doing great. Fantastic. I got to tell you that yesterday, for those that don't know, by the time you hear this, it's a couple weeks later. We had a crazy storm yesterday, the kind that just dumped a ton of rain, lots of wind. My poor kids, I'm sure yours are the same. They spent 90% of their day huddled in the hallway because of tornado warnings. Is that what happened to you guys?
Yep, they sheltered in place. And actually, Abba is in portables. So they had to bring them in when the first warning went out. And then once they got released, they went back out. And then they called them right back in. So then they got to do schooling in the library, which she wasn't too upset about.
No, that's actually not so bad. The way it works at our school is fifth grade is all outside. Like everyone else is inside. And so yesterday, apparently her classroom backs up to the portables or whatever. So she was sitting there and she's like, those kids stink. She's like, boys at that age need to wear deodorant. They stink. Because, you know, she's sitting in that hallway with a million people. And I'm like, Bailey, I hate to blow this bubble for you, but boys stink all the time.
Oh, yes.
Seth the other day took his socks off. He came into the office. I don't know why he was in our office, took his socks off and left them in the office. And I came into work and I'm like, what the heck is that smell? You know, that's like damp, gross, nasty.
Oh, no, smell. I know.
And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm like, no, you've lost Xbox for a day. Like, that is disgusting. I don't know. Hats off to you women. Why you put up with it, I have no idea. I know that we're gross. I like to think I'm not as gross, but we're gross.
You're so bougie. I'll just leave it at that. But as far as the socks goes, we'll sit down to dinner and, you know, TJ sits across the table from me. We sit down for dinner every night as a family. There is no devices, nothing. That is our time. So he sits across from me and there's times he'll stretch his feet out. And I'm like, move your feet. You need to, I don't know, soak those in acid or something. It's, oh my gosh, it's so rank. Bleach. I don't.
Well, this is what I was thinking about too. Think about back before people had soap. And I mean, how gross must have we smelled? We must have
they didn't shower very often.
No, they didn't. Any of that stuff.
But maybe they didn't smell that bad because they didn't consume probably a lot of garbage. And you think maybe that could be it?
I don't know. My mom, as we found out, is from West Virginia. And I remember as a kid going to her farm and, you know, these people, there's like a single town grocery store and they did everything on their own. It didn't smell great. And it wasn't just because of the animals. I'm just going to say that, yes, it probably contributes to how we smell today by the way we feed our bodies. I totally agree with that. But I don't think we would have been roses and daffodils either.
Daffodils make me sneeze.
Okay. I don't. You don't want daffodils. You just want roses. Is that what that is?
No, actually, I really like daisies.
Oh, daisies. That's a good flower. So yeah, I like orchids.
Daisies are very awesome sauce. They're very happy. Orchids are pretty too, but daisies are happy. They're happy flowers.
They're like, if you were to label a plant, the pot plant that's not a pot plant. If you were to like look at a plant and say you look like you smoke a lot of pot, a daisy looks like that. They look a little bloodshot in the eyes. They look super happy.
That's
they look
not
like
true.
See, I think they.
I would say with the orchids, they kind of like hang down a little bit. Still a pretty flower, but I think maybe your thinking process is wrong. Well, we shine bright.
Absolutely. Now, on that note, I'm so excited about today's topic because it's one of those things that I think ties in well with everything we started the year with, but it's basically dealing with setbacks. We're 3 weeks into January and I woke up on Sunday, went jumping on a trampoline and I'm training I've got a half marathon in 2 weeks, a full marathon, and then another full marathon, basically a month apart. And I threw my back out. I woke up and it was one of those great days. I walk outside, do my thing, and all of a sudden it was like, start keeling over. I'm like, oh God, I hurt. And I've been doing all the stretching and everything else, but it's been a massive setback for me. And so I think today it's important to talk about.
You knew I was going to say something. You kind of paused for a second.
So you always do, please.
When you say you were on the trampoline, were you on there with your children?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Were you guys playing a specific game or just bouncing?
We did 2 games. One of them like is tag where you just run around and try to tag each other. But the other one, they do this thing called popcorn where they lay down and I bounce up and down to try to get them to pop
and you break
up,
it.
Know?
Yep.
I notice every time I do that, I do something wrong.
So you're not like doing flips and back flips and front flips. And
I mean, I've watched Bailey do that. I'm not going to lie. I'm incredibly jealous because I think it's so bad.
Awesome sauce.
To be able to do that. But I am the straight up and down, maybe a twist in there. I can't do a somersault. I can't do any of that in there.
Well, I will tell you, I can. I can do a backflip, land, and do another backflip, and land, and do another backflip. Not even a double bounce, just one and flip and down. Oh, yeah. I absolutely love trampolines.
They're awesome. And I love them too, but I find that my body doesn't love them.
That's also age.
It is, but it's also, I think that I did damage earlier in my life. I didn't really take care of it ever. And now that exacerbates it kind of thing. And so, I mean, it's been a real, like, I got to tell you, Monday, because Sunday I was like, okay, I can just sit, I can massages, I can do all these things. I felt better, but I still can't run. Like even today, I can't run. I'm going to go on a super long walk, like 3 or 4 miles, but I can't run. And it is so disheartening and it is very hard. But I'm also like, hey, look, I got a podcast on this. I have clients. I have to practice what I preach. So I'm practicing what I preach, staying on track, but finding new ways to do it.
If our listeners remember correctly, a couple months ago during the summertime, Justin also injured his back gardening or doing lawn work. This isn't a new thing for Justin, but he's doing the best thing for himself. He's listening to his body for one. He has backed off. And he's doing what he can so that he can come back to running, so that he can come back to jogging. If he were to try to do it now, he would hurt himself worse and he won't be able to show up for his half marathon in a couple weeks.
Exactly right, Kim. And I think that that's taken me to my mid 40s to figure that out. I always try to push it. And then I finally have realized, look, you only got one body. You've only got one experience. Make it count. Do it right. I keep telling myself that. Does it get easier? No, but if I reinforce it every day, I do see the benefits. Today I got up and do this thing usually every morning where I throw the sheets off and I fling my legs over and I pop up like, whoop, try to do something fun to make it makes me laugh.
Okay.
Maybe I'll film it just to show you guys because it's just something funny I do. Anyways, I couldn't.
Please make sure you're clothed if you do that.
Blake can just black out. Yes.
Does Kel laugh at you when you do this?
No, she did for the first probably 2 years. Now she's just like, oh Jesus. Okay, yep, he's got to do it.
She rolls her eyes at you. She's like, here we go again.
Yeah. After 18 years of marriage, I think that it is warranted an eye roll. Yes, I think she has earned the eye roll. But so this morning I was able to, I mean, I'm not doing it fast like I usually do, but I was able to swing it over and sit up and it didn't feel great, but it didn't hurt. So I know I'm making progress.
Yeah, that's good. I know you're a big tea drinker. Are you drinking like an anti-inflammatory tea?
I'm drinking rooibos tea, which is naturally kind of like a neutral tea, but it has a lot of flavonoids and stuff like that in it. I'm taking turmeric and I'm doing higher doses of calcium and magnesium to help offset some of that stuff, but I don't actually have a anti-inflammatory. I used to have like ashwagandha tea and tulsi tea, but I ran out of that and I'm kind of wishing I hadn't. I may have to go buy some.
I will be true. I don't know what either of those things are, but okay.
Oh, real? Well, here, since our audience can learn too, Kim, ashwagandha and tulsi are both from India, and tulsi is what I think they call it holy basil, and it has a very unique taste to it. It's an herb. Once you've tasted it, it tastes Southeastern. I don't know how to describe it. Like, curry tastes like South Asian. Like when you try it, you transported there. It has that taste to it. And ashwagandha, I believe it's also Indian as well, and it's like a Theravedic herb, and so it's meant to like calm your nervous system. I swear, like whenever I'm like antsy before bed or I'm feeling anxious or whatever, I'll take that and it really does help my nervous system calm down.
Well, shout out to India right there for their tea. That's phenomenal.
Kim, we're going to do a promo for this as well, but I think we got to send a shout out. We have, for the first time, infiltrated India. We just looked this morning.
Yep. We have one listener or viewer on our YouTube channel from India, and we are super excited.
And so thank you. We can't wait to grow that market. We love your food.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. We love just watching it grow. We want everybody to feel the energy that we feel and to hear what we're saying. And yeah, I can't explain it. I'm crazy excited for it. It is phenomenal.
Well, it's something I think that I listen to our shows every time they come out, before they come out, right? I listen to them, Blake edits them and listen to them. And I get excited about every episode because I forget half the time what we talked about because by the time it comes to us to listen to, it's, at least 2 weeks behind usually. And so I'm like, oh man, I love that episode.
And with that being said, I think you need to go back and listen to a couple episodes of what you were supposed to do before the end of the year.
Are you talking about jumping in the cold pool? Is that what you're referring to?
No. I'm referring to making a pie. And there was one other thing. I'll have to go back and listen. You were supposed to do something else before the end of the year. And we were going to show it and talk about it. And well,
I fell
that's
flat.
A red mark for you. Yeah.
Well, in today's world, I think that's a check minus. All right, Kim, a check minus.
Okay. I mean, whatever you want to call it. it.
I completely forgot about the pie, but Kelly cleaned out the freezer this weekend, so I don't know if we still have it. But if we have the pie crust, I will make a pie this week. I'm 100% committed to it. I will do that.
You could go buy a pie crust, but one, not a pack of a whole bunch of mini ones. Remember, one pie crust, but it's got to be the one that you said you were going to make.
I will. I'll make the blueberry pie. I'll make that.
I don't think it was blueberry.
I thought it was.
No, I thought it was.
Coconut cream?
Yep, it was a coconut cream pie.
Okay, so our listeners can hold me accountable here. Kim, this is why we make such good partnership here. I think I committed actually to 2 pies because I never made the coconut cream and you chastised me about how easy it was to make. And I'm like, I think it's hard. Well,
that was on our Thanksgiving episode with your mother.
And to your credit, Kim, I actually looked up how to make it. It is stupid easy, supposedly.
I could send you the recipe for a coconut cream.
Yes, actually, Kim. So I don't have to do it. I know you've got a good one. Send me the recipe because I do have a good blueberry one. Let's make it so. Deal?
I feel like I should make you really work for this and do it all yourself. But I guess I'll send it to you.
But see, I think this is where friendship comes in, though, right? This is how you help other people. I know you love to see me suffer a little bit because that's part of our friendship, but
no, we don't like to watch suffering. We like to watch growth, Justin. Well, I'm going to, we should buy you an apron and we'll just call you, not Betty Crocker, because I'm not for sure what it's going to turn out to look like, but we could come up with a nickname.
All right. And we can toss that out to the audience as well to come up with the nickname for the chef Prust over here. I will tell you that I am known to not follow directions, but with pie, I promise I will follow it.
Okay. Those are famous last words for you. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, Kim. So let's go back to the topic of setbacks here for a second. We touched a little bit on kind of a couple setbacks that I have right now. Like, what do you do when you hit a setback? When something happens to you that either you're planning for it and it doesn't go right, what are some things that you do to counter that?
When you get crazy frustrated, I never give up. I never give up on myself for one. We talk about it in every podcast. Don't be negative, be positive, and just think you were set back for a reason. And if you were to push yourself, you could injure yourself more and be counted out longer. Self-care isn't a bad thing. Not at all. Take the time off that you need. It's not an excuse. It really, really isn't. Like we talked about with my MS, whenever I am struggling or in a lot of pain, I said I take naproxen. I take a leave. That's what the naproxen, that's the active ingredient in a leave. I try not to take anything. That's just me. I will spray BioFreeze if I need it. I have a TINS machine that I will put on my shoulder and on my back, and I'll turn that TINS machine on and let it. If you don't know what a TINS machine is, they stick the little sticky pads on you, right on your muscles, and then you turn it on and it like pulses it is what it does.
It's a very tiny electric shock.
Yes. And it is, honestly, it feels great. Just don't crank it up. You could hurt yourself. I definitely get enough sleep. I listen to my body. BioFreeze, the spray, is my friend. I always have it on hand, but definitely listen to your body. Don't get discouraged and know that when you come back, you're going to come back better. So what about you, Justin? What do you do?
Well, so I think, first of all, I think everything you said is awesome because I agree with everything on there. The one thing that I want to hit on here that I think that is really a problem, especially in Western societies, is the fact that we pride ourselves on working ourselves to death. Especially as I've gotten older, it's appreciating not doing that. I found that I'm not only more productive, I'm actually more active, healthier when I'm doing less. It's weird, counterintuitive to everything you're taught in America, Europe, mostly, that you have to work 10-hour days. If not, you're part of my friendship, but
I don't know.
And you've got to work when you're sick and you got to plow through and plow through and plow through. Well, every study shows that that's the quickest way to death besides smoking and drugs. I mean, that's the next hurdle you have to overcome. So I think my advice here is to listen to all those signs, especially frustration. What I've had to overcome growing up in this kind of culture and having the environment that I grew up in and this really competitive landscape my entire life is not everything's competitive. And the race at the end of the day is always with yourself. Slowing down to speed up is so true. And when you're hurt, taking that time, like you said, to not only listen to your body, but do the things you know you need to do, not the things you think you should do.
Right. And you need to realize that whatever you don't get done, that you step away from, when you come back, it's still going to be there. It's not going anywhere. It isn't going to change. It isn't going to decrease. It will still be there for you. Just a thought.
So I'm going to take your advice and just put a little cherry on top because I think it's so right, is the fact that I also realize when I do these things, a lot of that stuff didn't matter to begin with. By taking that time, I'm actually focusing on things that really matter. And I know a lot of people had a hard time during the pandemic, and I get that. I did too. We all went through weird 100 things. But the biggest lesson I still take away from that is what really matters at the end of the day.
Well, and it's how you face it. And it's how, with your attitude, what is your mindset? What is your goal that you see for yourself at the end of it all? It's how you face it. And with what type of attitude that you face it with is going to be how your outcome is.
100%. Here's a great example. So last night, my youngest son and my wife were sick. And so Jackson got up, I think at like 3:50 or something last night, screaming. He had some sort of leg pain or something. Anyways, and so we got out of bed and Bailey yells out from her room, my daughter, "Shut up." And Kelly goes, "Bailey, just go back to bed." And Jackson goes, "Yeah, Bailey." And we all just started bursting out laughing. The perspective of that is so funny because it's true. It's just like, just everyone go do your own thing. Like, just stop being ridiculous. Stop being so stressed out. Just relax. It's just so funny, that one little phrase, "Yeah, Bailey," like 2 words. And I still makes me laugh. And I think that perspective is so important because, like the show, it's funny to me because we talk about a lot of serious things, but we do it in a way, I think our personalities help a lot because I don't like to be serious a lot. I know you don't. The neat part about that is that the human journey has a lot of downs in it.
It really does.
But how you face that, how you overcome that, and how you decide to take the lesson from that makes all the difference. That to me is that little special in the business. They always called it secret sauce, which I hated because that just sounded gross. But you know, that piece that I think helps relieve a lot of stress in your life is if you have a lot of faith, not just religious faith, but just faith that things will work out in the end, that you're here for a reason, and that taking the time that you need is going to pay off.
Right. It would be the cherry on top. And by you having that vision and being laser focused on what you want and what you want to come out of it will get you there. Could it take you a long time? Absolutely. Oh my goodness. It could take so long that you almost want to give up. Don't, because it will be there.
100%. And I want to just refer back to this because I posted the other day from this woman, Vijay, that basically at age 68 learned to swim. I thought this was just so awesome because, I mean, I can't imagine not learning how to swim as a kid, but I mean, she learned at 68 and it said, "Don't give yourself an option to give up. I never thought about quitting. If I invest mentally, I don't quit." To hear it at someone who's 68, and at my age, I still think 68 is old, but I'm sure at her age, she's like, "Oh, there's so much more to go," you know?
Right.
And there is,
and there is that mindset that could be her beginning right there. You know, remember 68 is just a number. It's just a number. It does not matter. It is how you think about it and what you're pushing for and what you're striving for. That's what you're looking at. You're not looking at that number.
No.
You're looking at your accomplishment.
And what you want to accomplish still. Put that in front of you. And
it goes back to what your outlook is on everything, how you think of it, how you approach this. And never stop laughing. Ever. I will tell our audience that again. Don't ever stop laughing or smiling. Because when that happens, the outcome isn't very good.
No.
Don't give up.
I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. The other day I was in line. There were like 2 people in front of us and obviously farted. And Bailey just calls it out. She goes, "Oh my God, someone farted." I could not stop laughing. Everyone burst out laughing. And that poor woman just kept looking around like, "Oh, I couldn't, oh, who did do that?" And I'm like, we all know it's you, we all know. That is always funny to me. Like that, if I ever don't find humor in that, I know that something is really wrong.
Right. But then also, I say I don't have a filter. So, I mean, that may be bad. But when it comes to kids say it like it is because they don't know any better. So just like Bailey saying that, and everybody laughed. There wasn't a filter on that, which made everybody laugh and made everybody smile. Did it embarrass the lady? Probably. But you got your laugh for the day.
And
yes, there you go.
It's her choice to get embarrassed by it, right?
Right. She could have said something like, "Oh, it was my
Tuesday.
coffee." Yeah, something like that.
So here's a side note for you here, just in relation to that, just lightly. So I've always wondered if this was true or not, but they have scientifically proven now that yes, coffee does make you go to the bathroom.
Well, yeah, it's a diuretic.
But I didn't know how fast, because people would be like, "Oh, I just had my coffee." And I'm like, well, that's pretty fast. It's fast, by the way. So
we call it the coffee poops, like literally. Coffee poops.
I'm not sure we do, but you do for sure. Yes.
Yes. We in Ted's family, we're always drink your coffee. It's coffee poops. It's time.
We used to work with a woman that taught a 5:15 a.m. class. One day the bathrooms weren't working, and she told us that, "Look, I teach a 5:15 a.m. class. I drink coffee. Those bathrooms need to work. people go there need to work. And I couldn't, it still makes me laugh.
No, but no, I totally agree. And I'm a nervous peer. So whenever it comes to stuff like that, I'm a nervous peer. Like I don't necessarily have to have the coffee poops, but I pee all the time. I'm like, I gotta go when there's no holding this.
Let's go back to perception here for a second. One of the things, especially as you start getting more fit and you start hydrating more and stuff like that, I will tell you that you definitely pee a lot more.
Yes. And if you notice, it's clearer if you drink more water.
And it happens in such a quantity like crazy.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's important though.
It's true.
So as we get ready to wrap up setbacks here for a second, a couple things I'd like to leave everyone with is it's not truly a setback if you find a new way. Because a lot of these things, one of the ways I've decided to look at it was I listened November, December last year to one of the books written by Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddhist monk. And I think I mentioned him several times, but just an unbelievably fascinating look on life. And one of the things he said was that, like, look, these could be little lessons being tossed at you. And how are you going to react to that? Is it going to be with negativity? Is it going to be with optimism? Is it going to be with clarity? Is it going to be with problem solving? You know, how are you going to look at this situation? When you look at it that way and you realize that there's a million different ways to look at any situation, it changes everything. With the minute I got out of my head and started realizing, look, this is a setback. Yes. Am I going to be able to train as hard as I want? No. But can I do a million other things to get around this? Absolutely. And so,
yes,
I think that's really important.
You were the one with the injury. What have you been doing to help all of this?
Yeah. So a couple things. So one is I stretch about 10 minutes every hour during the day. So I have I don't know the name of it, but it's a back stretcher thing where you add things onto it. It's got 5 layers. And so I use it on layer 2 and I lay on it. And then I cross my legs at the end and it stretches my hips and my lower back out a lot, which helps. I do a lot of stretching and I do a lot of mobility stuff. So when I'm up, I try to bend forward a little bit. I twist slowly side to side. I try to get that mobility back. And I've noticed that has helped a lot. But the minute anything hurts, I stop. I don't do anything that hurts. If it's tight, that's different, but that's what I'm doing.
Do you do a heating pad or anything like that?
I was so bummed. Our heating pad on Sunday broke, and I've never had a heating pad break, but we've used it so much it bust open, and I have not replaced it yet. We had a really cool one that had like ceramic beads where like, you heat it in the microwave, and it would, oh my God, and it lasts like 45 minutes. It was such a great thing, and I need to get a new one. But yes, I did that yesterday because it was so cold at night. I wore a heavy coat, but then I stuck basically my belly button and below in the pool for 5 minutes for cold therapy.
What about, have you been sitting in your hot tub?
I did that afterwards. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, are you alternating the heat and the cold?
The only thing I found that was really hard was on Monday Monday. Anyways, whatever the day I was really, really tight. I think it was the second day. Going back and forth was actually really hard because getting up and down was hard. It's one of those times I wish I had like a cryo chamber where I could just walk, but getting up and down was probably better for me, but it was not comfortable. But I did it, yes.
So then when you sleep in bed, does that hurt?
Actually, this is the first time, and I mean this, that I've ever had back pain where it doesn't hurt to lay. Like in almost in any position, it doesn't hurt. What hurts, it doesn't hurt as much now because it's gotten better, but like, like twisting from one side to the other. So like I sleep on my side. So like I usually fall asleep on my left side and then I wake up on my right for whatever reason. But I noticed the first 2 nights I would wake up and be like, whoa, like, holy crap, that hurts. But now it's pretty easy. It's tight, but it doesn't hurt as much. But the good news is when I lay down, there's no pain at all. And sitting,
that's good.
Once doesn't hurt because every other time I've hurt my back, like sitting like this would really hurt in my hips area and stuff. And honestly, it doesn't hurt to sit.
Really? Okay.
I feel like all the stuff I've done has progressed. So it's helped a lot, but stupid things still hurts. Leaning and bending forward. No, thank you. That is a no-go. Because one of the mistakes I made, just a good lesson for everybody, is trying to do yoga right after this to try to loosen up my back. So I was doing cat-cow where I was doing like the up and the down with my back. Mm-hmm. I thought that would be great because it's a nice rocking, cradling. Stupid. I got so cramped. I was like halfway through. So I don't recommend that.
What about, are you wearing tennis shoes, supportive shoes, I should ask, or are you walking around in slippers and flip-flops?
I'm trying to walk on bare feet as much as possible because I like the alignment and the connection with the ground. When I go on a walk later, I will use shoes. I'm not going to wear flip-flops or anything because it's too cold, but I have really, really thin soled shoes. So it's not minimalist, but it's pretty close. So that's what I usually use. What are your thoughts?
Okay. I know when Ted, he hurt his back many years ago on a trampoline as well, but then also snowboarding and skateboarding. And whenever his back bothers him, he'll put on his supportive tennis shoes and he will wear them all the time because it just helps set his back up right. He always does that. Most of the time, he won't sit down because he struggles getting back up, but he Like we have an ottoman in front of our couch and he'll go kneel by that and kind of lean on it a little bit. But then, yeah, he always has supportive shoes on, always.
Maybe I'll try that because I agree with everything that you're saying there that he does because I've done that. The one thing that I do that's a little different because my back is not as tight as it usually is because I usually couldn't lay on the ground. I would be in so much pain. It would take me like a half hour. I'd roll over. I'd wait there for a while, roll over more, and it would just take me like probably a half hour to even get up. I can actually lay flat in the ground. And what I've noticed is as my hips hit the ground and they spread out a little bit, that really, it doesn't feel great, but that makes a huge difference. Laying flat on the ground, that has done miracles.
Well, that's good. I mean, when you're listening to your body and you're doing what's best for you,
trying to,
which is as you should.
Yeah, but I guess note to everyone out there too is I was reaching something for Bailey to get a bowl. I think this morning, like seized up like that for a second. And I was like, a bowl? I'm trying to do the right stuff, but I still find that weird things anyway. So I'm not out of it yet, but I do know I'm making progress.
Right, but you're reaching up and having to stretch your body up, and yeah, definitely. Listen to your body. Take as much time as you need because if you try to get back in it prior, it'll set you back even further.
Hugely so. Kim, thank you for a great episode.
It's always a great episode, Justin, but
Kim,
you know that.
So you're aware, Blake and I were talking about merch the other day. I think we need to somehow find your voice, that high pitch that you hit, that it's always a great day, Justin. That we need to figure out that.
Can you? I need you to say that again.
That was a great day, Justin.
There you go.
We need to find that font to capture that on a shirt. Because first of all, it's great advice, but I don't know in my mind, I kind of have a vision of what that looks like. But if any of the audience or even you have an idea what that font is that sounds like that, let's create a shirt with that.
I think we should. I think that's a fantastic idea.
See, there's another one. We got to see that the font on that would so that people understood because it's not just fantastic, it's fantastic. It's that emphasis on the fan.
Fantastic.
It's almost like, what it's like? I know you're not a huge Seinfeld fan, but it's like talking to Seinfeld where the enunciation of key aspects of the word make all the difference. For me, it's awesome. For you, it's usually the front part and I'm more of a middle to back. So it really balances out.
Yeah. Ted is a very big Seinfeld. He's a fan.
Oh, trust me. I know. That's why we get along so well, but I know that you were not quite on that realm yet. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I've never really watched it. I've watched some of them and the ones that we've watched, they're funny.
Well, I think you kept saying the jokes were so high level, you didn't understand them. Is that correct?
No, I don't. I just we pay for cable. I'm not for sure why. I talked about this on one of the episodes too. I turned the TV on yesterday to watch something while I ate lunch and then I shut it back off. It's very rare that our TV is on at nighttime. It is so full of poison and negativity that we'll look at a black TV screen.
We watch definitely a lot of Disney stuff. We don't watch a ton of TV here, but we try to watch a ton of comedies and documentaries. That's kind of like my sweet spot. That's what we try to watch as a family.
Yeah, well, and that's good. That's really good.
I think that it's funny because the other day I was reading in a Hollywood Reporter, and then we'll wrap this thing up, but this blew me away. Last year, and this was not a record-setting year, by the way. Okay, this was not a record. There were 499 new shows last year. New.
Really?
499. This year, there's like 450 or something. Holy crap.
Wow.
Yes. It blew my mind. Like if you want to just 450 plus what's already out there, like these are not like recurring new shows. 499 last year.
Interesting.
It's insane.
I was not aware of that. Yeah, no, I have certain shows that I watch, like my girly shows. I watched Grey's Anatomy from the beginning, season 1, and I can't give up now.
No, you're invested.
But I am. I've got to see how it plays out.
Kelly worked on Grey's Anatomy for 2 years, I think. It was funny.
Really?
Yeah, because she was at Warner Brothers, NBC and stuff like that. And so she would always say that they had a lifespan of each show, right? So Friends was originally going to be like a 5 to 10 episode or season thing, and it ended up going, I think, 9, if I remember right. This was very funny, maybe 10. Grey's Anatomy was like a 7 to 10 year, and I think season 20 something they're on now. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I gotta look. Now that you say that.
I think, if I remember, I think it's like 22 or 23. That's how insane the show's been on. It's been on that long. And it's still not the longest running show of all time.
It isn't?
No, I think Law and Order might be.
I guess that doesn't surprise me. But then there's been a couple spin-offs from Grey's Anatomy, and they're going to come out with, is it season 19?
Okay.
Oh, maybe. Hold on. on.
Drumbeat.
Yeah, and I'm like invested in this now. I've got to see. It'll be season 19. There's been a couple of the seasons that I was like, okay, this is dragging. I don't think I can watch this. Just went on and on, the same thing. And I was very, very close to just being like, I'm done. But then, I mean, at that point, I can't.
Well, it redeems itself because they get new writers and they get new it works. It does. I've only seen a few episodes. I'm not a religious guy on that show. It's not one of my shows that I watch, but it is clever. It's witty. It's relatable. So, I mean, honestly, I saw it was renewed again next year. So don't worry. There'll be season 22. So don't worry.
When I go like to the hospitals and stuff, whenever I go do all my stuff for MS, the MRIs, and when I was doing the spinal taps and stuff, we would talk about something and, stuff that goes on at the hospital. And I'm like, I know what takes place at hospitals. I watch Grey's Anatomy. And they would always laugh at me.
So one thing that my brother did say that made me giggle was that because in all these shows, someone hooks up, right? There's always, it's some season, someone's having sex somewhere in an office.
Multiple people.
But that's what I'm saying. Like he says that the rules in the hospital are so strict that if you were to actually do that, you'd lose your license kind of stuff. So I get it for TV, but just for anyone who's wondering if that's really happening, if it is, I'm letting you know it won't be happening for long. And honestly, being in a hospital, I'm glad of that. I don't want to know that this could have been contaminated, if you know what I mean.
For sanitary reasons. Oh. But if you think about it, they're like sleeping elsewhere in a different room, not on the surgical table.
Kim, it's the same. I get where your brain is at. I'm just telling you.
I totally agree. But he may say that. I'm not for sure. I can see your finger. You're stopping probably your child from coming in, or either Kelly.
I think it was Kel. I didn't look, but I think that's our time to wrap up here, Kim.
No, I'm under a time crunch. I got no words.
On that note, we crushed it, Kim. Thank you.
We always crush it, Justin. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you come back weekly. Remember, we drop on Wednesdays now, not on Thursdays.
Nope. And then we still keep our shorts on Saturday. With that, have a great one. And thank you all. And that concludes today's episode of the Fitness
Manifesto. I know you guys enjoyed it.
And Kim, I want to say thank you to you and to our audience for making this podcast what it is.
Yes, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys.
And stay tuned for the next episode.